Om Jnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This is how to please Krishna at the present time. In Kali Yuga, the Lord has come in the form of a preacher of Krishna consciousness. We can serve his mission best by preaching. So we'll have to see how much we decide to serve the Lord's mission. Prabhupada said, don't think you can find Krishna loitering in a bush in Vrindavan. Rather you will find Krishna in your service to Krishna.
So even on the lower stages of Bhakti, theoretically we should know all other stages.
How can you know all other stages?
All higher stages.
How can you know higher stages when you're on the lower stage? How can you explain nuclear physics to a child who's just learning arithmetic? He may have a vague idea that there is such a subject, but he cannot comprehend it.
That was my question. That's what I wanted to know.
You can talk so many things, but just like you can train a parrot to talk so many things, it doesn't mean he understands it. So anyone can pick up a book and read it and talk about prema and bhav. It doesn't mean that they have prema and bhav. Anyone can read a book and they can learn this gopi wears this colored dress and this gopi does this, and then it doesn't mean they have any realization. Personally, I have great faith in Srila Prabhupada. If we simply follow what he has given, then all perfection will come. As we sing, Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha, all desires will be fulfilled by his mercy. So we shouldn't, there's a saying in English, we shouldn't try to run before we can walk. We want to train a baby who doesn't even know how to walk, how to be a running champion. Let's go step by step, let's be realistic. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Kam, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Madhadi, Abhishta, Ishavna, Chari, Kishi, Pavi, Radha, Krishna. As long as within our hearts we have lust, greed and anger, illusion and so many bad things, then how can we attain to Radha and Krishna? So let us be realistic. Not that we shall not attain to these things, but we should be realistic of what our stage is. Even that stage is extremely exalted and high of Krishna, gopis. We shall worship that stage with great awe and reverence. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, I would like to make one cottage at Govardhan.
One cottage?
At Govardhan. He said, Radha Kund, that is the topmost place. I will remain at a little distance and worship at some distance. Let us serve the Lord in his Sankirtan mission. But that's another thing. You're asking about differences in Gauriya Mata and philosophy. There's certain groups, they say that in ISKCON you only practice karma yoga, not bhakti yoga. And then book distribution, which Prabhupada gave so much stress to, he said, oh, this is just some karma yoga, it's only material. People are very envious of Prabhupada. Prabhupada didn't actually teach us bhakti. He only engaged us in karma yoga. They say you have to leave ISKCON and come and join us. Only then you can advance in bhakti. I mean, quite obviously their aim is simply to collect followers, and by the very nasty means. And they're actually just bluffing and cheating. It's not that anyone who goes to join them immediately becomes super advanced in Krishna consciousness. I've seen they're just when they wake up late in the morning, they may talk so many big things, but basically they're just very much on a very material platform. It's easy to talk of bhav and prem, but Prabhupada, he didn't even talk about that so much. He talked about seva, do seva, you'll become purified.
Can one attain to a spiritual world without having any knowledge of bhava and prema, just by seva, by performing service, by endeavor in service?
Anyone can go to the spiritual world by the mercy of Krishna, but the general process is to get training. But that begins with knowledge of seva, not with bhav and prem. No bhav or prem without seva. Bhav and prem means seva. When seva becomes mature, then that's bhav and prem. But those who talk so much about bhav and prem without emphasizing seva, they're simply sahajiyas. They want to get the goal without doing the work. And that we find that the sahajiyas, they're always talking bhav and prem, but you don't hear them talking about seva. Whereas sincere devotees, they're engaged in seva and they only want to do seva. And that is the symptom that they actually have bhav and prem. I don't see that Prabhupada went around, he was all the time talking bhav and prem. He would engage people through service. He never advertised himself that I'm a great Mahabhagavat engaged in the service of the gopis. He always presented himself as the humble servant of his spiritual master. So I tell you, I trust Prabhupada. He had so many God brothers, but none of them cared to come and save us. They were all sitting in Vrindavan or wherever talking about Bhava and praying, but they never cared to save us who are rotting in hell. If they actually had so much love, then why didn't they execute the mission of the Lord by preaching all over the world? I trust Prabhupada, because he gave his blood to save us. No one else did that. Now there's preaching field all over the world, and people are just coming out and talking so many things and making so many followers, but actually none of them could have done this without Prabhupada's hard work. I don't trust that these people have our best interest in their heart. When they're preaching to you, do they really want to benefit you, or they just want to exploit you and make you another number? We made one more disciple. They offer you something very great. You'll very quickly get praying. But is it true? Rather, I find these people that 1 minute they're speaking praying, and the next minute they're simply blaspheming Vaishnavas. That's their main interest. One who's got praying, he likes to glorify Krishna, but I see they're more interested in blaspheming Vaishnavas. So anyway, I don't want to discuss this anymore. Enough of this subject.
He read the Traveling Preacher's Diary by Indradivna Maharaj. So do you plan to publish a similar diary of yours?
I'm doing other writing projects.
Нет, я пишу другие книги, несколько иного рода. Can we associate with Gaudiya devotees?
Well, I mean, we just spoke about this for about the last half an hour.
Ну, мы уже последние полчаса об этом говорим.
Do you get the point that they want to pull you away, initiate you, and without, you'll see the Guru you have no contact with them, and then they'll initiate you on the spot, whether you're chanting 16 rounds or not, whether you're following 4 regulated principles or not, and then turn you against the people who brought you to Krishna in Islam. Talk so many high things, but you don't even know Bhagavad Gita. It's just a cheating process. If you want, you can. I mean, I'm not gonna stay here and stand behind you. And you just have to know what's in your best interest. That's all.
Should a devotee make endeavor to improve his material position, to improve his service to Krishna, or he should accept whatever Krishna sends him and not make such endeavors?
It will be different in different cases. For instance, one disciple of mine works in a bank in Dubai. So he knew that he could do it doing the same amount of. If he did a course for 3 months, I could get a higher qualification, and then automatically he would earn so much more money just by having that qualification. So I recommended him to take the course, because after doing that, by doing the same amount of work every day, he'd earn significantly more money, which he can use for his family and for Krishna. But it depends on the situation. In general, devotees are not advised to make so many material endeavors. But if without making so much endeavor that your whole Krishna consciousness is devoted, you can improve your material situation, there's no harm to do so. But as I say, you'll have to see differently in each situation. For instance, you're saying you don't have time for chanting. So I would say, well, try to find a different form of income that doesn't take up all, different means of livelihood that doesn't take up all your time. If you get paid, say, 700 rubles a month by working 12 hours a day, and you can get another job which pays you 1,200 rubles a month, and you only work 40 hours, then obviously you should go for another job. Many devotees are making good income by selling prasadam. You can do that. That's a good way to make money. You're not tied down to any boss. You're not tied down to any schedule. You're distributing prasadam. People like it. You can go again and again. So that's a good business. Some devotees here are distributing, is it? Well, there's plenty of scope. There are all different varieties of prasadam.
As regards this question, what does it mean to make extra endeavors for the material development?
Extra endeavors means that's what I said. If you take up some means of livelihood that takes up all your time and your energy, and you don't have time for Krishna consciousness, that's useless. I mean, these are points which just require some standard intelligence to understand. And how to live our lives in a very sensible way so that we can be Krishna.